Hello everyone, it's Kari and I'm back with another sneak peek for you. Today I've got the Castle Arches die and also the Potions class stamp set. These are part of the Magic collection and I think you're going to love them. Here, let me get a piece of white cardstock to show you this stamp set a little bit better. Look at all these fantastic images. There's lots of potion bottles, a couple different character images. There's a table with a cauldron and a stool, some shelves with potions on them as well. And there's a bunch of really great sentiments. Today I'm going to use one of my favorite sentiments. In that Castle Arches die, there's also a window that you can turn into like a stained glass window or a cathedral looking window. I'm not going to be using that part today. I've already colored and used the coordinating dies from the Potions class to cut out a few of these images from that set. And I'm just going to play around with the placement of these. But before we put this card together, let's give this Castle Arches die a little treatment to make it look even more spectacular. So I'm taking the floor of the castle here and I've got the perspective floor stencil. I'm going to use the bricks from that stencil and I'm just going to ink it up with one of my favorite Distress Oxide colors, which is Iced Spruce. It's kind of a gray green and it's, I think, a really pretty color. So I'm going to use that Iced Spruce to ink that on, and look at that. That's going to be the floor of our castle here for our Potions class. And then I'm going to take each of the ceiling backgrounds and I'm going to ink them with a smaller brush using some Hickory Smoke Distress ink. And what this is going to do is it's going to really make that background pop. Each of the panels and each of the pieces is really going to look very cool against the white columns. So I'm going to leave the columns white and I'm going to leave the arches white. I also think they would look cool in a wood tone color, making some wood beams, wood looking beams. I think that would look really pretty too. So there's lots of things you can do with this castle arch die. Imagine using it as a castle for a princess. You could even use it as a great hall or a ballroom. This would be really pretty as a cathedral or a church. It would be very awesome for wedding cards as well. You could use it as a dungeon. You could use it for lots of different things. And I'm excited to explore some of those options. I'm sure you can think of many other things to use it for as well. So let's put this whole thing together. When I cut this out of my A2 size, it did create a frame. So I put that frame around on my card base. And then I put the top arches on and some of those ceiling pieces. We're going to build this from the top down. Now, when I first placed this, I didn't glue it all the way because I wanted to make sure I had the first pieces lined up. And if you get those first pieces lined up, it's pretty easy to work your way down and get all of them lined up and pieced in perfectly. This is a little bit like a puzzle, but it is very simple because all the pieces are quite different shaped. So it's really easy to figure out what goes where and how they all fit in. So I'm just going to check on my spacing here with the columns and the floor, but I am going to keep working from the top down, ceiling all the way down to the floor, and then we'll place the columns in last. So you can see how quick this is to piece together. I have sped this up just a little bit, but this was my very first time building those castle arches, and it was pretty quick for me as well. So I'm pretty excited to use this in many different ways. I can't wait to do a stained glass window with a light shining in from behind it. I think that would look so pretty. So that's on a future project list of mine. So I'm going to place those columns right in and then the last pieces. But can you imagine those arches as wooden beams as well? Gorgeous. Okay. Now, another thing that I was thinking is to color up some of these with Copic markers, add some more details to the columns. Today, I'm just leaving the columns completely white and the arches completely white. And I think it's going to be the most awesome backdrop for my card today. All right, there we go. We got a couple different columns to add, just those small ones there. I got a little bit of ink on that one, so I'm going to erase that right off. And then I'll glue that in right just like that. And now we're ready to build our scene. So as you saw, I did color and cut out those images from the Potions class stamp set. That's also a new stamp set, and these will be available on Saturday, February 3rd. So keep an eye on the store and on this space because we will have more sneak peeks until then. I also cut out 2 or 3 other pieces of each of the images that I used so I could build them up to be more like embellishment pieces. So here are the tables. I'm going to glue all those together. I'll glue all the shelves together and all of our character together. And that's going to build these up to be nice dimensional pieces for our card. This card actually feels very substantial because I've built each of those pieces up. I've built that castle arch and I used a very heavy weight cardstock for the base. Now for the sentiment, I'm using my very favorite sentiment from the set. I could not get over it. It says, "You don't need a potion to bewitch my mind and ensnare my senses." I just love that. And I think you could also use this sentiment very nicely with just some of those potion shelves, a heart or a bunch of hearts for Valentine's Day. I think that would be really, really cute and also a little bit funny. I think I'm going to make that for my husband this year. So I'm going to finish putting this together. I also built up that sentiment a couple layers high, so it was dimensional as well. So this card feels so awesome. I kind of like having dimensional pieces like that. So there we go. That's the sneak peek of our Potions class stamp set and Castle Arches die set. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek. Don't forget to keep coming back again and again to see more, and we'll see you at the new release. Bye-bye.